morning, everyone. This
Morning.
scintillating Saturday, we are on the very special discussion on this particular event. And in this panel discussion, we are going to talk upon the different aspects of the growth and opportunities in the SME and MSME sector. So the topic of this panel discussion is the global growth opportunities for SME and MSME sector. We all know that MSME sector is always remain the backbone of Indian economy and Indian GDP. In the manufacturing segment, it's contribute around 7.09%, and in the manufacturing segment and the service sector, it is contributing the 30.50 segment. At present, the manufacturing MSME sector is contributing overall, that is the 37.54%. To understand the various dimension, various opportunities in this particular area, we have eminent panel member joined in this particular session. Let me introduce all of them one by one. Shri Amit Kumar, founder and CEO MSMEX. Welcome you, sir, here.
Thank you.
Shri Manu Seth, CEO and Speaking Minds. Welcome you. Shri
Morning,
S.
everyone.
Venkat, CEO, My CFO. Welcome you, sir. Dr.
Thank
Nikhil
you.
Agarwal, CEO, first at IIT Kanpur. And of course, this entire discussion is going to be moderated by Shri Bhavesh Kothari, the co-founder and director of Millennium Divas Fund. So once again, welcome to all the panel member and the moderator and the audience. Let me introduce in a brief to all our eminent speaker. Mr. Amit Kumar is a serial entrepreneur. At present, he is building MSME, which is India's only micro consulting platform for MSME, small business owners, and is offering business growth services for 6.5 crore small business sectors in India. He has a recipient of many national and international awards. Certainly, we are going to benefit from him. Our second speaker is Mr. Manu Seth, who is a renowned international business strategy leader, advisor, international trade revenue consultant, and world peace ambassador. A business leader having 25 plus years of experience, he has launched and implemented business strategies for organizations, business conglomerates, and the business visionaries to scale, sustain, and grow, and have the tools, knowledge, and network that are necessary for success across the globe. Such as a vast experienced person, we are going to listen and get to know many aspects. We have a third speaker on this platform, this discussion, that is Mr. S. Venkat. Is a qualified chartered accountant, cost and management accountant, and a risk manager by qualification, an entrepreneur and category creator by evocation. At My CFO, AS Venkat has built and led a team of 200 plus professionals across the country, as well as in the Middle East and North America. AS Venkat motivations is to leverage skills in the F&A domain to assist business owners, investors, CFO to scale up, monetize, or help them partner effectively with the business. He has worked with Access board and finance professional across industries, verticals, business size, stage of growth, and seen a variety of business and finance situation. The fourth panel member, Dr. Nikhil Agarwal, is India's foremost innovation and policy expert. He is currently CFO of First IIT Kanpur. He was involving larger scale innovation projects such as cyber security innovation, which is much needed in our country, Spark, Rural Innovation Labs, Incubation Center, Startup Ecosystem, set up INR 1 billion startup fund, to name a few. He is an instrumental in forging important national and international relationship for the state. He is also the founder of Entrepreneur Cafe, which is a global movement spread in 110 cities and 6 continents, connecting over 45,000 entrepreneurs. Such a huge numbers we can witness here. And of course, the moderator of this session, Mr. Bhavesh Kothari, the CEO of Millennium Divas Fund. Armed with more than 2 decades of professional experience, Bhavesh Kothari has been credited to be a pioneer in the startup mentoring domain and has mentored and nurtured more than 5 to 6 dozen startups over the last 9+ years. A chemistry majors graduate from the Mumbai University with a postgraduate degree in event management. So combination of chemistry and the event management is a great. A diploma in international trade with an MBA in international business. A Six Sigma Green Belt certified professionals, along with his certification as an inter-trainer. He craves for learning all the time. He currently is building a dedicated VC fund called Millennium Devas Fund, focused on investment in early stage women-led co-founded startups. He is also the State Director Maharashtra at Confederation of Indian Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises CIMSME, and a key member of the Thought Leaders Task Force. And the last, an avid reader, explorer, and go-getter, he firmly believes build value and the valuation will follow. So certainly, our moderator is going to create so much of valuable knowledge, and going to build the ecosystem of learning to all of us. Mr. Bhavesh Kothari, now the platform, the forum is open to you and all the members. Thank you so much. It's my great pleasure, privilege to welcome you on this particular forum. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Sashikant, for this very interesting introduction of all the panelists. Thank you so much for helping me out in this. Thank you, first of all, to all my esteemed panelists for joining us here today, and for Vyapar Jagat for creating this platform to bring us all together. So, delighted to welcome all my esteemed panelists. I am going to quickly run across a few questions to the esteemed panelists on the topic, which is global growth opportunities for the SME and the MSME sector in the country as well. And then probably what we will do is we will open the floor to the audience for the questions, and whoever would want to ask questions can either put it in the chat in the questions section, or maybe just raise your hand and we will take it up from there. So thank you once again. It's a great Saturday morning, and it's a great learning platform for all of us. So my first question, let me start with Amit. So Amit, my question to you is, since you run a platform called MSMEX, right? What are the types of capital available for growth and expansion to Indian enterprises?
Yeah, so Bhavik, thank you for giving me the opportunity to start this discussion. This overall enterprise segment of India is very vast. It's very diverse, starting from the micro segment to the small and then medium and large. And we all know the capital requirement, whether it is the ticket size or whether it is the nature of the capital requirement, that is also very, very different. And so any blanket solution or any blanket answer from my side will not be a justice to this question. So if I say a micro segment which is just establishing itself, and they are in the early stage of growth, they are possibly running in the turnover range of 5 crore or less, there the majority requirement is on the debt side, not on the equity side. It's not that they don't want equity fund, but equity fund is probably not meant for them, because equity fund comes with various other expectations, and my other panel members will add to that, and we all, whoever have raised the funds, we know what are the requirements there on the VC side and private equity side and angel investment. So this segment, which is a micro segment, is primarily dependent on the debt. Now we have various options for that. Then it comes to the mid and the small segment. Now there we can say that the participation of the platforms like the way Venkat is running, and we heard during the introduction that they pick up the company, they pick up the founder, and then they groom them well in terms of their capital structure and take them forward for private equity funding. That is another support there. Or if in this layer, if we add another layer of startup, because I clearly differentiate the MSME with the startup. The startup is totally a different ball game. They come with a a different pedigree, they come with a different mindset, they come with a different objective, and they want to add the disruption in the society. And that's where they are able to attract the VC fund, because VC funds are looking for these kind of entrepreneurs. However, the mismatch which I see when we interact with a lot of MSMEs, that possibly media is also contributing to that. They read a lot of news items that VCs are funding so many companies, but then their expectations build up. And when they talk to us, we realize that okay, they are looking for a VC fund, but none of the ingredient which VCs are looking for funding anyone, those are not present there. So that is where that mismatch comes in, and that's where I'm saying this segment is mainly primarily dependent on the debt or early stage micro private equity investors. In unorganized side, if I say, in unorganized side, there are people who have money and they want to deploy the money. We can quote them somewhere in the category of angel investors, and they can also contribute to this. And for the mid and large segment, we all know that is very vault sector. So you can go for IPOs or SME IPO there, or you can go for proper private equity fund there, or you can go for family funds there. And I'm sure other panel fellow members will add to that. So this is from my side, and I'll contribute more as we move along.
Thank you. Thank you. Venkat, what are your thoughts on this? Since you come from that segment, assisting a lot of MSMEs in that space. So some inputs from you.
Okay, so maybe in the interest of going ahead, I'll possibly add on to what Amit was saying. So we seem to have a very peculiar situation worldwide, not just in India, where there is a lot of capital that seems to be available. But the companies who need the capital don't seem to be able to get hold of the money, right? So if you look at the global yields, they're all close to 2%, 3% globally. And both debt investors as well as equity investors are very keen to invest their money. Okay, if you look at Indian banks also, it's not as if they don't have money. They got plenty of money to invest. Indian equity, private equity and venture capital funds, a lot of money is waiting in the wings. But what has really changed is the flight towards quality, right? So if there are 100 companies who require the funds and who are applying for the funds, either equity or debt, we are finding that less than 5 companies are actually in the qualified segment who can have a realistic expectation of raising the funds, because they have the right business model, they have owner managers with the right academic and professional qualifications, or they have the right compliance and the governance structures. Yeah, so one of the trends that we are seeing is that capital continues to be available. However, it continues to be available for good quality ideas. Since a lot of our friends who are attending this session today are in the micro and small segment, a lot of startups, I think the days when startups were getting funded only basis the business plan is clearly gone. Okay, the expectation now of investors is that the founders will invest their own money, or they will do a family and friends round to be able to demonstrate a proof of concept. Okay, so you need to kind of bring the company up to a certain level. It cannot be just on a PowerPoint presentation. Post which, I think there are a lot of avenues now for raising capital. So there are plenty of angel investment groups that have come across the country now, and it's a very systematic process. So anywhere between say 1 crore to 5 crore, it is possible for an SME to raise on the equity side, provided, as I said, they have the right kind of business model and they have the right kind of reasons for which they're raising money. Yeah, so that would be my take on the initial comments that were made by Amit.
Bhavesh, you are on mute.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it looks like Bhavesh is, it shows lost connections. I'm just wondering whether one of us should take the lead in asking the questions and maybe the others can answer. Yeah, just in the interest of time. So maybe I'll take the lead here. So one of the questions that that we had in mind
Venkat, we
here
can
is
hear Bhavesh. We can hear
that
Bhavesh.
what are the top three things that
Okay.
Indian enterprises need to do in order to be
Hello.
able to attract capital? Yeah, hi Bhavesh, can you hear us?
Yes, yes, I can very much, Venkat. I can very much. Thank you so much for putting that question. Maybe Manoj or Nick can take it up.
Sure, Bhavesh, I'll address that. See, the top three things which we should focus and which even on both sides of the table is important is the first foremost is the working executionable plan, which should have a revenue model to it. That's the foremost. And the second, what really matters is that how we are managing the demand and supply. Now, these two things are quite interrelated because this will cover your revenue model. This will even cover the kind of the cost optimization and the revenue optimization, what one may look at. Because that boils down back to the kind of investment or anything as an SME or an MSME is looking at. Because we should not only look at from a funding perspective, but from a perspective where we are saying what is the global growth opportunities for SMEs and MSMEs. That's their own revenue model. Some SMEs and MSMEs might be doing on their own. So it's fine because the definition is changing with the changing time. And the third most important is the right talent and the team which takes the product or the services to the consumer. And whatever the tools they are using to give the services or the product, because when we all talk all the great jargons like linear economy, circular economy, that's all fair. So funding is one piece, fine. We should not completely divulge towards funding. That's important. Most important is that along with the funding, how they are able to create a revenue for a long term and how they're optimizing their cost runningly. Because when you see the numbers in the beginning, by the time you cross 3 years or 5 years, the numbers start diminishing. The percentage really drops down to single digits. That's my quick input here.
Got it. Thanks for that, Manu. That's very helpful. Anything you'd like to add further on that, Nikhil or Amit?
So if you look at the startup ecosystem, the last 9 months has dramatically changed. We all know that. There are two type of startups which has emerged in the last, or in fact, two type of MSME which has emerged in the last 6 months. The MSME which are extremely successful and they were able to revolve their business idea around the COVID situation. The other MSME who has closed down the business.
Nikhil, we're not able to hear you. Looks like you're probably on mute. You may just need to unmute yourself.
No, I am fine. Everybody else can hear me?
Yeah,
I can still see a red cross against your name, so I'm not sure if the others are able to hear.
Venkat, I think it's your problem. I think we are all able to hear each other.
Yeah, audible.
Amit, Manu, are you able to hear Nikhil?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, we
Okay,
can.
great.
We can.
Okay, perfect. Done.
Okay.
We are using sign language.
I think, Venkat is getting a response. That could be an issue. So I was saying the last 6 months, practically all the businesses, or I would say 9 months now, all the businesses have suffered in some way or other. But there are two kinds of businesses which has emerged. And I have watched them very closely from the MSME perspective in Kanpur, Unnao, Kannauj, even Noida, these places where we have thousands of MSMEs and also the startups. You'll be surprised to know in the last 3 months there was a data released by certain industry bodies which says 20,000 new startups have been registered in the last 6 months' time. This kind of registration has never happened. The new kind of MSME registrations, whether it's making the PPE kits or the gloves or supplying the sanitization, I can tell you a story. I received a call from few MSMEs in Kanpur itself. They said, we want to diversify our business and start making sanitizers. I would say, okay, this is the need of the hour. The people have started working on it, but a lot of people have diversified their businesses and they were able to sustain and survive. And the businesses, and you again, there's another thing which I would like to share. Number of our startups have raised serious money. Some of the startups which were in a single-digit crore, in the last after 9 months of activity, their valuations have gone up by 3-digit they are almost in 100 crores plus. That is very surprising. And the large number of startups have also closed down their business. They have gone belly up. Now, what was the reason for it? The simple reason was that the business has to reinvent the way that they are doing. There is enough money. I would give a different direction altogether. There is enough money in the market. There is enough liquidity in the market. Today, the share market is going 46,000, 3,000, 4,000 crores per day is coming in the terms of FIIs. Similar amount of money is also coming in terms of investments in startups. There were a lot of venture capitalists who were sitting on the fence. They have not invested in the initial few months, but now they are coming back and they are committing the money. Now they will not give money to the same app building or same manufacturing activities. They will give money if your business is modified. The last point I want to make is, like, I have closely worked with the AIG hospital in Hyderabad, which is one of the largest gastroenterology hospital in the world with 1,000 beds. I remember 4 months back, I was in the hospital, and the chairman of the hospital took me around, and he said, Dr. Agarwal, if you see, 90% of the equipment that is there in this hospital is imported. Only 10% is made in India. Now, what I appeal to my MSME friends is, start imagining. You don't have to invent. You don't have to innovate. Just replicate. Whatever is the need, whatever we were importing outside, if we are able to replicate that, doing it, whether it's a health sector, whether it's in different sector, if we are able to do that, there is enough business in the domestic market, and there is enough money, enough buyers.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you so much, Dr. Agarwal. Amitji, would you like to add something?
Yeah, so three things what you asked and Venkat was putting the question. So first, I always go with the product market fit. You know, when you are going out and trying to raise money, until unless the product market fit is ready, no one will listen to you, because before that it is all experiment, and it is either risking your own money or risking investors' money or risking banks' money. It's not wise. Product market fit is something which is before scale. And what is product market fit? For the awareness of the audience, when we say that we have a customer base which is buying from us, and the customer base is also referring to us, and the customer base is also coming back again and again to us, that is the stage where it is a product market fit, and it can be in a very small geography or a very small scale. Once we prove that, that is a proof of hypothesis of the product market fit, and then anyone will look into for scale. The second thing what I say is, okay, as soon as you prove the product market fit, now you are going out and raising money. Now at that stage, you need to have the right mindset. Now mindset is not only for growth. Mindset also is to absorb the change, because growth will bring in change. Are you ready to absorb the change? Are you ready to accept new team members coming in, or you still want to run the way you are running? Are you ready to spend that capital what will come to you? So that itself is not that easy. It sounds that, okay, if I get few crores of money, I will splurge that money, I'll spend that money. It's not that easy. Mindset has to be there. And the third thing is, which is governance, because once you take the money from outside, then you are responsible for society, you are responsible to those investors, and in that case your governance has to be good. So you need to showcase that kind of capability, that so far also you have been following a good governance, and now onward also you are ready to scale up your governance in line with the overall company scale. And if you project these three things, that the product market fit is ready, it means my experiment is successful, my mindset is ready, I'm ready to absorb the change, I'm ready to absorb this, ready to scale and ready to welcome all those things, and my governance has been good and will be good in future as well. I don't see any reason that investors are not going to invest in.
Lovely. Thank you, Amit. Thank you so much for these inputs. My next question, I'll keep it open. Whoever can want to take it can take it. What support MSMEs need beyond funding and technology tools? Any one of you.
So I'll possibly take that, Bhavesh.
Yes, Venkat.
Yeah, so I think that it's always a good idea for MSMEs to seek out mentorship support. Right. So the traditional way of operating for a lot of MSMEs has been to try and do it on their own, try and operate independently. It's been about a lot of self-enterprise, self-effort. Most MSME promoters are self-made people. But I think in the new world, we need to understand that there is now the markets have changed, supply chains have changed, and the factors that determine success in this world have also undergone a huge change. So it's always a good idea for MSME promoters, owners to put together an advisory board or good quality mentorship support. And again, there are a lot of platforms that are available to make sure that they have the right guidance in their scaling up journey, right? So you can have technology, you can have capital, but if you're going to put your ladder against the wrong wall, then no matter how high you climb or how fast you climb, you will still not have a very successful journey.
I think that's a great analogy, Venkat. Ladder against the wrong wall.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yes, Amit, please.
Yeah, so I have this thing to add, which I always talk when I try and represent MSME X, that, so far what is available in the ecosystem and what is missing. And this is something which is already in line with what just Venkat said, that, okay, we can give the payment gateway, we can give the accounting and invoicing software, we can give them tools for managing GST, filing. But what if the intent of financial discipline is missing? There's no tool available for it. That comes from mentoring and advice. What if the practice or the discipline of making monthly MIS and tracking it with the budget, that is missing? We can give a lot of leads from the listing platforms. We can give lead management system. There are a lot of companies which are working for early stage companies where they're coming up with affordable CRMs. What if the entrepreneur does not know how to sell? What if my sales pitch structure is missing? Who is telling that? So that is something which is coming as a complementary thing there. That technology is fine. The one side the technology is making a lot of tools, and one side the capital is available. But what the capital will not come until unless I also prove that I am enough efficient and equipped for using these tools, and I know the process of running it. And that's where the advocacy of mentoring and advisory, I will support what Venkat is saying. And this is the whole premises of our platform MSME X, where we provide this kind of support.
Fantastic. Manu sir, any input from you?
Sure, Bhavesh. I think a few things we also need to consider is the customer and the sales, because we are totally focusing on finance, which is good, but that's good because that's the domain expertise we bring on the table. But along with that, as what even Amit mentioned, that you are giving advisories in terms of generating sales. So the most important is who is the customer audience, because whatever if you are producing, even if you say that there is a good capital and that rolls back to the good content or the good set of people, the most important is the market. And we should not only, I'm just repeating it again, that we should not only divulge everything or focus everything on the finance for a larger audience here, because all the aspects like, yes, finance is important, talent is important, consumer is important, and what is the growth opportunities of the supply chain in the market, that's important, because at the end of the day, everything is important. If you have the best talent, the best of the capital which is available, despite of the qualities and all the ROI, if the market and the supply chain and the scalability for our SMEs and MSMEs is not there, they will get stuck. See, we have to understand they are dependent either to the large corporations or they're giving to the further smaller organizations. We have to understand that what role they play in this whole pivot. Yes, everything is important, but if they don't have a demand, supply, or the consumption, everything will fall flat, whether it is about money, whether it is about talent, and whether it is about, if the repeat purchase and their pipeline is not aligned, they will get stuck. That's very, very important.
From you, Nikhilji, any inputs from you?
So I think I agree what the Manu has said about the customer. I think a lot of MSME and startups focus on raising finance, and less of them consider that what will be my sales. Amit has done a startup, he would know. A lot of other people must have done a startup. People waste 6 months of time in making logos. But rather than if they make 6 months of time in getting first 20
Business.
customers, 100 customers, or 300 customers, that is better. A
See,
startup
startup.
waste another 6 months in making the website. How does it look? Let me give you a
Get
good
full
news. There are
experience.
250 billion websites in this world, and none of them is have a time to even think of how many zeros are there in $250 billion. Forget about looking at the website. If technically you open up your laptop today or phone today, you will be using 8 or 9 website or 8 or 9 apps max.
Correct.
There is no way that you can have more. So that's and the whole website traffic. So those things need to be understood more deeply. Today, the requirement of the customer is more than how your color combination looks, how your logo looks, how your website looks, because customer base is changing. The requirements have changed. In our RWA, where I can give you one or two examples. In our RWA, where I live, of course, in the last 8 9 months time, nobody has less number of people have bought the shoes. But what the shoe sellers are doing, they are coming to the RWA, bringing a small cart, and just for the change, people are buying. And I was speaking to one shoe seller. He was able to say that I am selling now more than what I used to sell pre-COVID. Similarly, goes with a cloth manufacturer. Rather than sell, people are not going to the malls. People are not going elsewhere. People are either buying online out of need, impulse buying happening where the shopkeeper is able to go to the customer. So now MSME has to do the same thing. They cannot just sit in Kanpurs or Kannauds of the world. They have to now go where the customer exists. There is a huge market that has opened up because of the restriction in travel. Only few countries are allowing travel to each other. There is a new market which is opening up. There is a lot of backlash from the China side.
Yeah.
We are not alone. Around the world, if you hear these stories, customers, businesses, and countries are not welcoming China the same way that they have. Where is the vaccine from China? China has developed the vaccine for 3 or 4 months back. Nobody is talking about it. Even the Russian vaccine, everybody is talking about it. So that's an opportunity for MSME. Not only look at the domestic market, but also look at the export market in nearby places.
Fantastic. Thank you, Nikhilji. I think you have led me to my next question. And this is, since the topic itself is global growth opportunities, I think what we have been able to do is focus on the local strength development for MSMEs. And that's where, my next question to the panelists, and again, it's open for everyone and anyone to ask. We have, I think, last 4 minutes left before we open the floor to the questions from the audience. So with the recent explosion of digital mediums and the problems, with China, as you rightly mentioned, on the global front as well, right? How can MSMEs tap global markets? Any one of you?
See, access to data, as even few of our fellow colleagues mentioned, is immense now, is immense. The whole world is connected. But they have to really identify their right target audience, have their customer base. As what even Dr. Nikhil mentioned, they have to reach out to the consumer and close the deal. Because see, it's all about the revenue at the end of the day. What is the top line? And even if your margins are not healthy, but your top line is healthy, at least you have a scalable model. And that goes back to your drawing board, that goes back to your mentoring, that goes back to your financial. Because see, all the investors who are coming, even look at from an investor perspective, very few are looking long term. More are bothered, oh, what is the exit plan? So the third or the fourth question comes, what is the exit plan? So what does that shows? So here my point to the MSMEs and the SMEs is that if we are able to make a scalable pipeline, tap the consumers across various opportunities, like with a lot of movements happening from China towards Bangladesh or Vietnam and Indonesia. Definitely India being a big number, we were always a consumer based economy. We have huge numbers, we have a lot of good talent, we are multitaskers. There are a lot of strength on our side. Now, if we identify the segment and the countries and the needs, this is whatever, whether I'm coming from a footwear or I'm coming from a leather, or I'm coming from suddenly like organic food and a lot of healthy snacks are coming up. So the closure and the sustainable scalable business is what my suggestion would be. in the quick short time here with the advent and the connectivity of the digital domain globally now.
Fantastic. Anyone else?
Yeah, Bhavesh, I have a view here. So there are two ways of looking at this. Let us see what is the current market. The current market is okay when we are talking about going global. Either there's an import or export. Let us see when we were importing a lot of stuff. So we are taking things from other countries. Now it is difficult to get those things from other countries. So we have this opportunity. Can we do something here locally? Now that is an opportunity which is opening up, where when I talk to a lot of people, I found that, okay, this particular small packing is only the packing which was coming from China. Now this packing is not normal packing. This packing is specialized packing, which is used in some electronic, part sealing. Now that is something. Can we do that here? That is an opportunity opening up. Other opportunity is that, okay, now other countries were also taking it. Once we develop that capability here, can we now go out and sell it to other countries as well, where earlier maybe they were getting it from China? So these are the two ways we should look at the problem. The problem is not only the replacement or supplying outside. Problem is first to build the capacity internally, prove it here, and then go out and also spread it in other countries. So that's how I look at this problem.
Fantastic. Venkat, any inputs from you? Or yeah.
I just think that it's largely, I think the opportunity is there. The question is the mindset, okay, whether we are able to kind of understand the needs, the changing needs of the changing consumer, right? So it's no longer the traditional markets. Who is your target market has, I think, undergone a change for a lot of companies. As the other panelists have said, the markets are no longer local, they are global. So the opportunity is there, okay? Now the question is, that not everybody is going to be able to leverage the opportunity for their benefit and improve their profitability and cash flow. I think the ones who are able to predict and understand the changing behavior of the consumer, and who are able to adapt their product in order to kind of cater to that demand, I think are the ones who will actually be able to successfully scale up. Okay, so I think it's a peculiar situation. There is enough demand, but whether that demand will kind of convert into cash flow or not, I think that lever continues to remain in the hands of us entrepreneurs.
Fantastic. Nikhilji, any thoughts from you before we wrap up?
I think my message to all the entrepreneurs today is that think more local, think more global. So that's the domestic market is significantly growing, and that is the kind of investment is happening in the infrastructure and all is all there. There is a need for the product. Every product there is a need. We just need to reach out to the customer. I think my fellow speakers have already emphasized. Once we find a customer, find first 100 customer, find 1,000 customer, find 10,000 customer. Once you are able to demonstrate that you can reach out to the customer, forget about the margin. The money will come to you. Investors will come run after you, and you have to refuse that. Please, I don't need any money anymore.
Lovely, wonderful. Anyone else? Any thoughts before we open this floor for Q&A? I think it's been a brilliant discussion so far, and I have almost 2 pages written down on the inputs that we have got from this particular discussion. I'm waiting for the audience to maybe send us a few questions. Any thoughts in the meantime? We could take it up. We have exactly 5 more minutes to go before we wrap this up panel. And thank you so much to all the panelists, first of all, for helping us put this panel on time, in fact.
I think
that is your strength.
Vyapar Jagat would be that you can run a series of articles on do's and don'ts, because still there is a huge confusion which is going on. There is also let me give a public message, since it is a public platform. vaccine is not coming soon. So kindly use your mask, kindly use social distancing. Still, Corona is a very bad virus to be part of. Don't let India that you will get the vaccine and you will get secured. It's not going to happen. Number of my friends sit on a COVID task force, and some of them are very senior doctors. So please take it carefully. Business is there, but also if you are alive, then you will do business.
जान है तो जहान है.
जान है तो जहान, जहान है तो धंधा है.
धंधा है. Let me summarize this whole, 35-40 minutes of discussion that we had. And in case if there's a question pops up, maybe we could take it up from there. So I think, once again, thank you so much, Amit ji. Thank you so much, Venkat ji, Manu, Nikhil ji, for helping us put a perspective on the opportunities, whether it is local or global. The whole idea is that do we have opportunities as global, the new terminology that has come up, right? In this, I think what we have discussed so far is the global leaders, grown 2 to 3%. Flight towards quality is very, very important. Capital is available, but it is only available provided you have good quality, you have good value systems, you have good processes in place, and you're able to, add value to not only your customers, stakeholders, so on and so forth. Investors' expectations is, whether you are putting your neck, on the line, and then maybe we will come to you, because they're also looking at how are you able to add overall value to the business, to the ecosystem as well. Demand and supply, cost, optimization, talent and team are the areas I think that needs really, really focused approach. Mentorship, I think, and that is for what firmly I also believe. I think mentorship is something that drives, an advisory board if you have that can help you steer your business in the right direction and in the growth path as well. Ladder against the wrong wall. I think that's a great way. I mean, if you're moving in the wrong direction, I'm sure you will not be able to sustain in this so-called VUCA times. The volatility is very high. Last but not the least, I think your customer is your first investor. So I think focus on that, because that is something that will automatically add value, right? So I always say, अगर गुड़ बना लोगे तो मक्खियाँ automatically आ जाएगी. So, focus on building value, as always, I firmly believe on that. So I think with that, if there are any last thoughts, any last notes, I'm happy to, open this up. Any last comments?
As an anchor, I like to ask one question to all of you. In
Yes.
this pandemic situation, we have seen that in last 4-5 months, the new investor have opened their account in the share market, and they are buying the shares, right from a student to the entrepreneurs. How do you see the overall industry is going to focus, especially the share market, and how the impact will flourish on the new investors, right? Is the investors going to be benefited in coming time, because we are focusing on the self-reliant, and we are witnessing that the India is going to be the next superpower country in terms of everything. Anyone can answer.
I would say it's very speculative as of now. So there is a short-term money which a lot of people have made. I would say go with extreme caution. You need to have money in your pocket. Don't borrow and invest. That's something which anybody should avoid. And somebody should have an appetite of taking up the losses. Then only they should enter into the market right away, because there is less number of domestic customers, more number of FIs, and we all know FIs pull just like that overnight. Once they start pulling, then you will be stuck up for a year or two.
Okay, great. Amit, Venkat, Manuji, any thoughts?
So
I think
one thought from my side is that couple of weeks and we are entering into a new year. So now nothing will change, I know, practically, but the only thing changes is dates and events are bringing in a new energy and new kind of sentiment. So possibly I'm hopeful, and being an entrepreneur, I am always positive and always hopeful. So waiting for that new year, waiting for that January, a new quarter, so that the sentiment of the people will change. Because now this 2020 year mark, and whenever you write the date also, somewhere pinches you back. So once this changes, the sentiment revives, and once the sentiment starts reviving, overall people start taking positive actions. People who are sitting on the fence, they will also move forward, and then the natural business cycle starts revolving, and that is a kind of pro effect which I am hoping in 2021. So let's welcome the new year with this positivity, and with a lot of kind of say right forward looking thinking, and start forgetting what happened in past, because one poor year in last couple of decades is not going to decide the coming decades. Let's leave this and move forward.
Fantastic. Manuji, any thoughts?
No, it's a good line to take forward. It's like a change of mindset and a lot of opportunities which we can dig out. Yes, we all had tough times, everyone. So I think the whole idea is that from the base, everyone has to go up. Now the scale of going up will vary for people. That's fair, but the opportunities are very much there, and even technology has shown that it is not only a word technology; it is now becoming a lifeline. So how well you use technology and in various forms of business, various forms of life, various forms of learning, various forms of personality also. So it's an upside for everyone, and even it brings a positive change in your personality, that how well you are using a technology today. Like today we are saying that we all are connected apart from the various platforms, and we are still leveraging air meet and other things. So these are all giving and showing us ways and means to move forward. So all the best to
Fantastic.
everyone. And thanks to you, Bhavesh, for summarizing the whole points in a very nice and a concise manner. I hope all our audience would have got a good takeaway. And all the best to Vipar General for their future endeavors.
Yes. So thank you so much to all my esteemed panelists. Thank you, Amit Kumar. Thank you, Mr. S. Venkat. Thank you, Dr. Nikhil Agrawal. Thank you, Dr. Manu Sheth, for joining us.